So today's topic is female Asperger's traits and how they align with my personality in particular. But I thought it would be interesting to do a post on this, as I think a lot of people aren't really aware of the differences between male and female Asperger's and how it affects people in day-to-day life. So I thought I'd do that today. Please forgive me, I've written a list which is actually taken off a table, which was the first kind of thing that led me to look more into female Asperger's. Well, that and the fact that my sister was studying a similar course and came upon some stuff from Tony Atwood, which was very good and very detailed, and yeah, she kind of gave me the heads up, and then I did some further research and came across this table, which is me all over, and shed a lot of light on things. So I've pulled a few things off the list, and I'm going to kind of expand on them in relation to my own experiences. So the first one is dresses comfortable due to sensory issues and practicality. All my life I have dressed a certain way, and that hasn't really changed. I can only really tolerate clothes that are baggy, generally cotton. I can't tolerate anything made of wool, anything itchy, anything tight, anything with kind of hems or stitching that might touch my skin. Certainly not leather or vinyl. The most uncomfortable clothes I've ever had to wear for a job were at the gym, because you're moving around in things that are like lycra or tight, stretchy clothes, which, yeah, was very aggravating, but something that I managed to deal with kind of in the shorter term, but did get to me after a while. And I started wearing, board shorts and t-shirts and stuff towards the end of my fitness career. That was also due to just hating seeing myself in lycra, or hating other people seeing me in lycra. But anyway, yeah, so that one's a big one for me. I can only purchase things made of certain fabrics, things that, don't irritate me too much. So I generally stick to baggy trousers, cotton clothes, things that don't smell too much or rub too much. Yeah, that's me. I'm a dag. Deal with it. Alright, second one is eccentric personality. I think we can kind of skip that one, because I'll leave that up to you to decide if I'm eccentric or not. Some say yes, some say no, some say I'm just crazy. You can decide that one. Androgynous traits. Sees herself as half male, half female. Yeah, I kind of think that maybe I should have looked back over this chart before I took on the transgender journey, because there are a lot of points on this chart that do outline the fact that you will at times feel more of a male, more of a female, balanced in between, yin and yang. That is part of female autism apparently, and you do kind of sit right in the middle of the spectrum of gender. So that's kind of something that is going to take me a while to get my head around, I think, because it's kind of weird. But yeah, another trait. Uses control as a stress management technique, rules, discipline, rigidity, and rituals which contradict her seeming unconventionality. This is one that a lot of people don't really get, because I appear quite laid back and quite unconventional and unique and all those things. And they come into my house and I'm like, do you mind a sec? I've just got to do my routine. And then I go off and wash my hands 100 times, line up my fruit in colour order and do my little thing. And it kind of blows people away, because they expect that I'm going to be so kind of daggy and laid back with the way I live, and there's going to be kind of clothes everywhere and all that stuff. But actually, I get home from the shops, I clean the floor, take the garbage out, kind of get my food ready in its particular order. I'm very routinal and quite controlling, as I'm sure people who have lived with me could tell you, but it is quite contradictory to the way I appear in general. So that's another one. happiest at home or in other controlled environment. For me, I do not, I don't flourish in society, and especially when I get overwhelmed, I retreat back to my house or anywhere else that I feel comfortable. So I'm very much at peace, well, not at peace, but I'm a lot calmer in familiar surroundings, and when I get taken away from that and I don't really know where to find certain things, or I don't know where the bathroom is, or I don't know my way in and out, I get very anxious, and sometimes that pushes me into overload. So I do tend to hang out at home more often than not and do my routines, and that kind of keeps me sane and relatively balanced, if I can ever call myself that. Often musical or artistic, that has always kind of been one way that I can escape. I did a lot of music growing up, I did a lot of art. I was very blessed that in primary school and high school I had teachers that noticed that I was very interested in those things, so they kind of invested in my skills and talents and got me involved, with band and Rocker Stedford and plays and all that stuff. I did a lot of, set design and costume design, and, it was fun, and it was a way to kind of express myself through art and music, and I will hopefully get back into that stuff very soon because it's something I enjoyed, and I think that it keeps me more mentally healthy. So, self-taught reader, hyperlexia. So that was another one. I never really read much as a child. Actually, I didn't read at all, yet I have pretty good vocabulary, to the point where in school people used to call me the walking dictionary, because they could pretty much ask me any word and I would know the meaning and how to put it into a sentence, and correct syntax and comprehension and grammar and all that stuff. And that's kind of just a natural understanding with me. I never really studied it, I certainly didn't read to achieve it, and I probably don't deserve it. But it is something that I'm thankful that came naturally, because I think it makes life a lot easier when you can spell naturally and put writing together, especially because a lot of people with autism and Asperger's do struggle with those things, and I'm really lucky that I don't. Strong sensory issues, big one for me. So when I go out, noises, smells, anything, the people's emotions around me rub off on me very quickly. If I'm sat next to someone that's particularly sad, even if they don't say anything, I kind of feel that and it pulls me right down. Flicking lights send me crazy. If a truck is about to go past my window, I have to very quickly wind it up because it distracts me from my driving. So I often wear kind of semi earplugs when I'm driving, so I can still hear noises, but just not to the same degree, because I don't, want anything to make me jumpy while I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. Just anything like lots of bright colours, aeroplanes going overhead, people screaming, even white noise, like lots of people talking at once. I find it very hard to handle. Smells, deodorants, perfumes, cooking smells. When I'm out in the shopping centre, they're the things that kind of push me over the edge. If I'm in a food hall and I can smell perfume, I can hear lots of people talking, if you've got the fluorescent lights above, I can stand it for about probably 10 minutes max, and then I'm out of there because I can feel myself getting more and more exhausted and more angsty, and there's no point pushing it to the limit because it takes me so long to calm down. Emotionally immature and sensitive. Yes. I haven't yet had a relationship of any seriousness. I find dating completely above and beyond me. I don't even know where I'd start. I would love to have children and a family, but I feel like I'm an 8-year-old. I think like an 8-year-old. I still love Disney, and boys are still boy germs. Ew. Yeah, very emotionally immature, and I'm only just discovering how to express myself on an emotional level. But I am very sensitive to things like yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but if my routines get interrupted, or if I feel like someone has been offended by something I've done, or if I've unintentionally hurt someone because the way I've said it or the way I've done it isn't what I intended, I do get very hurt. But I deal with that usually by going quiet or mute. People have commented that when I cry or when I get upset, I actually cry silently, which is apparently an unusual thing. There's no loud tears. It's kind of, I sit there and a few tears roll down my face and nobody really knows until they look at me. Or I'll just walk off into another room and come back, an hour later when I've gathered myself, because I'm kind of getting better at dealing with those things because I'm getting used to them now. One of them at least is sensitive to medication, often has adverse reactions. Another point that I should have read before I went on testosterone therapy. It may have saved me quite a lot of pain. And, yeah. But I didn't read it, and, yeah, it says it right there. Adverse reactions. Should have done my homework, hey? Anyway, it's all been done now, and thankfully I'm feeling a bit better today, hence making the video today. Moody, prone to bouts of depression, often diagnosed bipolar. Yeah, I've been diagnosed bipolar, ADHD, anxiety, depression, anorexia, orthorexia, pretty much everything. But I do believe most of those fall under the heading of Asperger's now, because most of them are listed within the charts or within the diagnostics. So I think a lot of current psychologists will probably be more educated on that when there are more solid figures and more solid research that comes out on female Asperger's. But I know that Tony Atwood is doing a lot of good work on it at the moment, and hopefully there's something more solid published in the short future. That'll be good. Will shut down in social situations once overloaded, but generally better at socializing than male counterparts in small doses. May even give the appearance of skilled, but it's a performance. Now, I thought I'd finish on this one because people always say you can't be Asperger's because you're really good at talking to people and relating to people, and you look really comfortable and at peace and all that kind of stuff. Can I just say that it is all an act? It's something I went through agoraphobia and a lot of fears in my teen years, and I used to go and sit in a quiet corner of the mall and observe people, and I often used to bring a pen and paper and actually write down their conversations. I'd take in how they were standing, how their vocal tone changed. So I researched it, and then I've done a lot of work at replicating it, which also my last psychologist helped me with, my social etiquette. So that is something that I've worked on from a young age. I feel like I was a blank canvas, a bit, like a chameleon, and I've kind of had to train from the start to get a personality that was kind of socially acceptable, and I still put my foot in it quite often and find it very difficult, but they are skills that I've learnt but often falter, and they do take a lot of energy, so I do kind of fade in and out with conversation, and if I've been at a party for more than half an hour, I've got to go and rest because it just completely exhausts me. It takes all the energy out of me. So I know that's another thing that affects my friendships, because I get exhausted so easily, and because social situations cause so much anxiety, and I know I have to put that act on. Sometimes if I don't have the energy to spend, I have to pull out at last minute, or I have to cancel, or I get too nervous to go. And a lot of people don't understand that, and I have lost a lot of friends over it. So I'm sorry if I've done that to you in the past, but it is a genuine issue with me, and I didn't mean to hurt you, and I probably do care a lot for you, most of you. But yeah, my levels of exhaustion and the levels of concentration I have to employ to see people in public or to have one-on-one conversations is quite extreme. So if I'm anywhere near below par, I can't do it. You know, I have to pull out, because otherwise I'll, you know, probably just go into overload, and that wouldn't be pretty, because yeah, and then it takes ages for me to get back on top again. So yeah, probably better left in those situations. You know, there are a lot of other things like decision making. Every decision to me is massive. You know, even choosing which milk to buy in the supermarket, I go through so many thought processes, and putting one down and picking it up, putting it down and picking it up. And that's with everything in life, and it's quite painful in many situations because it takes me so long and requires a lot of patience on other people's behalves a lot of the time. And a lot of people think I'm nuts when they see me, you know, trying to buy a gift in public or in the supermarket, trying to choose my food. Or, you know, even deciding what to do in the day. Every single decision that I have to make is absolute torture, which is probably why I try to avoid making them. So many different attributes and aspects and characteristics that there are to discuss to do with the Asperger's, but I think this video has probably gone long enough for now, so I will do a second take with some other ones, and in the meantime I will post that chart for anyone to look at if they're interested. I'll post it on my Facebook right after this, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through some of them with you. I hope it was of some interest, and I hope you come out a little more educated on the topic, because I know it's kind of a lot of new, there's a lot of new information coming out only now that, you know, differentiates female Asperger's from male Asperger's. So, cool. Alright, have a good arvo, and I will catch up with you again soon. See you later.